Let's thank our lucky stars that these people are fictional. Hey guys, it's Phoebe with WatchMojo. Today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 biggest douchebags on TV.
Is this a police station or a toilet? Because all I see is turds.
We're taking a look at obnoxious TV characters who don't cross over into straight up villain territory. So you will not see Negan or Joffrey on this list. Let's get to it.
Boy, do I have a feeling we're getting close.
Number 10, Sterling Archer. Archer.
I thought I gave you a fake number.
What? Archer, it's me!
Cyril? Hey, I can't really talk right now.
An animated parody of James Bond, Sterling Archer takes all of 007's worst characteristics and cranks the dial way up. Arrogant? Check. Misogynistic? Check. Kills haphazardly? Double check. As a narcissistic spy who's disrespectful and outrageously rude to everyone he meets, Archer is the definition of toxic masculinity. A walking car wreck who you just can't take your eyes off of.
And what do you see in my eyes?
Mostly those insane boobs.
Sure, he also gets some hilarious lines, but you probably wouldn't want to be around him for more than a couple of minutes if he were real. Witty one-liners aren't so fun when you're on the receiving end.
Shut up. I have to go. But if I find one single dog hair when I get back, I'll rub sand in your dead little eyes.
Very good, sir.
Number 9, Gregory House. House.
You don't know a thing about my Susan.
Either Susan wanted to die, or she was both fat and stupid. Used a Twinkie instead of a gun.
Hugh Laurie's Gregory House is the Sherlock Holmes of diagnosticians. Cold, calculating, and analytical, he's unparalleled in his field, but often seems to lack basic human compassion, leading to countless awkward social encounters. If you've got a strange illness, you couldn't ask for a better doctor, but you probably wouldn't invite him to your birthday party.
The obviously stupid lie you told us about your hospital records turns out to have been unobviously unstupid.
When he's not being blunt towards his patients and or colleagues due to his wafer-thin mental filter, he's somewhat hypocritically battling his own personal demons. Nonetheless, we can't help but believe that beneath the tough exterior, his heart is in the right place, or at least we hope it is.
Cameron had much smaller breasts. By which I mean she was smarter.
Number 8, Ari Gold. Entourage.
You're not seriously leaving in the middle of this conversation.
Conversations usually end after one person calls the other person a douchebag.
You called him a douchebag? He doesn't like that.
Ari.
Check out the new Italian marble. He'll be right back.
It takes a lot to be the biggest douchebag in an ensemble of douchebags, but Jeremy Piven's portrayal of Ari Gold, the embodiment of slimy Hollywood agents, is truly one for the record books.
You're fired, and in case your ears are get the out!
Fans of Entourage will know its premise was loosely based on megastar Mark Wahlberg's experiences in Hollywood as an up-and-coming actor, where he no doubt encountered egocentric, money-obsessed characters such as Gold. It's even said Ari is based on the real-life agent of the same first name, Ari Emanuel, who apparently demanded his ex-client Piven be cast in the role.
You shitty dime store therapist. A man's life is on the line here, and all you give a about is beating some stupid club record that will do what for you? Give you 5 minutes of pleasure while you underpaid emasculated husband tonight?
Number 7, Andy Bernard, The Office.
I'll be the number 2 guy here in Scranton in 6 weeks. How? Name repetition, personality mirroring, and never breaking off a handshake.
Named one of the most annoying TV characters by Vulture in 2011, Andy Bernard is a character some love to hate, while others just hate. The combination of anger management issues, love for theatrical singing, and tendency to suck up to his superiors would tick off most people. So imagine actually having to work with the guy 40 hours a week.
Why was he gone? He was such a nice guy. No, he was not. He was a total douche.
Bernard, played earnestly by The Hangover's Ed Helms, was a late addition to The Office, but that didn't prevent him from making a big impression with viewers. You often pity the man, but just when you start to sympathize with the character, he does something that'll make your skin crawl.
Come on! God, watch the nipples, Kevin! Back off me!
Number 6, The Gang. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Holy shit.
The core cast of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia are pretty much some of the worst human beings imaginable. Dennis, Dee, Charlie, Mac, and Frank run an Irish pub in Philly, where their morally bankrupt behavior is constantly and excessively on display.
If we don't eat this kid, we are gonna die, and you know it.
Oh my God, I want to eat him as much as you want to eat him, but it's wrong to do it.
No, it's not.
When they're not backstabbing each other, they're getting one over on someone else. No one is safe from the ruthlessness and treachery. Oddly, however, despite their infinite shortcomings, there's something endlessly endearing about the group. And that's really saying something considering they've attempted everything from stalking to kidnapping, with a little cannibalism thrown in for kicks.
I really don't like this guy.
Number 5. Comic book guy, The Simpsons.
And will there be any more splurging today?
Comic book guy may not be the worst TV douchebag ever, but he ranks pretty high. He's got sarcastic quips for days, and a cocky smugness about him when it comes to comic books, science fiction, TV, and film. While his pop culture knowledge is admittedly impressive, his constant air of superiority suggests that he's compensating for other ways in which he's unfulfilled.
I'm interested in upgrading my 28.8 kilobaud internet connection to a 1.5 megabit fiber optic T1 line. Will you be able to provide an IP router that's compatible with my token ring Ethernet LAN configuration?
He does eventually get married, however, though not much about his personality changes, and as fans, we wouldn't have it any other way. Shopping at his store, on the other hand, that would be another story.
Oh, please take my $59. I don't want it. It's yours. Seeing as we are unfamiliar with sarcasm, I shall close the register at this point.
Number 4. Newman, Seinfeld. He may be a friend and collaborator with Kramer, but Newman is Jerry Seinfeld's bitter enemy, and the closest thing the show had to a main antagonist. Newman is bitterly jealous of Jerry's success as a comedian, as exhibited by his incessant snide insults.
Ooh, how I've longed for this moment, Seinfeld. The day when I would have the proof I needed to haul you out of your cushy lair and expose you to the light of justice.
While they may have formed the odd alliance on occasion, the unity would never last, and Newman would soon revert back to his condescending, critical self. Newman has actually featured in more than one TV villains list, but we think the style of the show is such that there are no true villains in Seinfeld, and so he both makes the cut and earns himself a high place in our ranking.
Boy, I don't need your help.
Oh, don't you, joke boy? You really think you can manipulate that beautiful young woman like the half-soused nightclub rabble that lap up your inane observation?
Number 3. Rick Sanchez, Rick and Morty.
This is a totally unregistered cross-temporal asteroid. Here they can romp and play with other Jerrys. It couldn't be safer.
Knowledge may be power, but it doesn't make you a good person. Rick Sanchez is one of the most intelligent beings in the universe, but he's also a pessimistic, misanthropic, nihilistic douchebag. The 70-year-old frequently drags his grandson Morty, and sometimes entire family, into outer space or on dimension-hopping misadventures, where his sociopathic characteristics are on full display.
Look, Morty, I'll grab myself, you grab yourself, okay? I mean, that seems fair to me. I mean, that seems like a fair way to divvy it up.
Rick! If there was a Doc Brown of the Mirror universe, this would be him. He most often uses his vast intellect to stroke his ego, for personal gain, or just to prove a point. But for the betterment of mankind, not so much.
It's the least I can do. I owe you this much. See, Morty? Now we're both accountable.
Number 2, Brian Griffin, Family Guy.
Yes, I am that Brian Griffin. You probably have my novel, but just so you know, in here, I'm just one of the guys.
While Glenn Quagmire and Peter Griffin were contenders, it's the Griffin family dog Brian who ultimately makes the cut. Pretentious, self-absorbed, and convinced that he's above everyone else, Brian is a cultured but quintessential narcissist.
I need to go to a hospital!
Brian, is Stewie in there with you?
Mom! We're in here, Lois. He's napping.
While there's nothing wrong per se with drinking dry martinis, driving a Prius, or being a struggling writer, for Brian, these are all part of what makes him superior. Some may even wish he'd stayed dead when the show killed him off for a couple of episodes. For others, he's a douche, but a lovable douche nonetheless. And where would Stewie be without him?
What are you doing?
I can't help myself, Lois. I know you're married to Peter, but I love you and I can't stand it anymore.
Before we unveil our biggest jerk-face #1 pick, here are some dishonorable mentions.
I need to tell you something, though. I've been doing some thinking, and I just don't...
But as she unzipped her pajamas, it reminded him of past situations which he'd successfully been aroused.
Well, I could wait till after.
Will you pretend to be my wife for an insurance scam, but then we fall in love for real?
Get a pastry box.
Move it!
That's better. Now fill it with cannoli, Schwierdel, and Napoleons.
Schmidt! 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 What are you doing? I'm being a man. I'm Schmidt! He would have ruined it.
If you're really strapped for cash, sell the jet ski.
I don't tell you what to do with your money. Don't tell me what to do with mine, okay? And Cassie, do not stare at me with those dead eyes, you church bitch.
Kenny!
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Eric Cartman, South Park.
This Saturday, awesome! Casa Bonita, food and fun and a festive atmosphere.
He may be a fan favorite for South Park viewers, but he's also an amoral sociopath with little to no redeeming qualities. If he's not making spiteful anti-Semitic remarks to his supposed friend Kyle or sexually harassing Butters, he's orchestrating the deaths of others for the sake of a petty revenge prank.
I made you eat your parents.
Unscrupulous, exploitive, shameless, deceitful, conniving, the adjectives go on. Cartman is a douchebag and then some, and perhaps the most notorious of all to grace television screens. This is one character who is beyond redemption. Let's just be grateful that he's only a cartoon.
Come on, dive! Dive, asshole! Oh, awesome! That was cool, huh?
Cartman is like that douche you just love to hate, am I right? What'd you guys think of our list? Let us know in the comments or tweet me at Phoebe_WM. And don't forget to check out this video.